Hello rail fans, and welcome back to another video on the Rusty Boxcar channel. This is probably going to be our longest video that we've put out in some time. It clocks in at just under 49 minutes. This past Saturday we made our way down to Decatur, Alabama for the River City Rail Club's Summer Railfan Hoot-enannie. Talking to some of the group members there, evidently there were Hoot-enannies in Decatur several years ago to watch rail action, and the River City Rail Club has recently restarted them. I believe this is the second one that they've had. I think they had one earlier in the year, and they're looking for a date in the fall, and then we'll be doing another rail watch sometime next spring. So pretty exciting to see this group getting these put back together. One point I counted, and there was roughly 20 people there watching trains with us. Several members of the local River City Rail Club, and then I think somebody came from Montgomery, and then there were a few of us that made the trek down from Nashville, albeit separately. We didn't realize we were all going, but I went down. Chris brought his family down. His friend Keith, his wife came down, and then Reed showed up a little bit later in the day. So it was a nice contingent to sit trackside and watch the trains. We saw pretty good action. Got really hot, and I think I departed somewhere around 11:30 or noon. A lot of the rest of the people there decided to go into town and get some lunch, and it was just getting a little too hot for me, so I made my way back north, made the requisite stop down and back at the new Buc-ee's in Athens, Alabama. So this first one that we're looking at here is CSX I-141 making its way south as it makes its run from North Baltimore, Ohio down to Fairburn, Georgia. It's got 4 CSX locomotives that you saw up front: 973, 544, 303, and 451. Will not have a DPU. In total, it looks like we got about 9 different rail moves, a couple local yard moves up and back, and then I managed to catch one last train on my way out of town. I went and actually stopped at a fast food restaurant and grabbed something to go, and when I was making my way north out of Decatur, saw a train on the bridge making its way north, so was able to get over to Belmina and capture that as it was making its way to the east. So I'll be back in just a minute, and we'll describe the second action that we see. All right, here we are with train number 2. That first one was at 9:02 in the morning, and actually I-026 was already sitting waiting. So at 9:29 it made its way to the north. So this again is I-026 daily priority intermodal going northbound from Jacksonville's Duval Yard up to Bedford Park, Illinois. We're going to have 2 leaders, 3052 and 3223 that you saw there, and then we're going to have one DPU in the middle, 5227. So I didn't want to talk over too much of that last move since we were just seeing a couple of engines light come through. But that one before this was CSX Y103 making its way back from the upriver lead in Decatur, Alabama, back to Oakworth Yard. As you saw there, it had 2374 and 6974, a road slug and a GP 40-2. This move that we're seeing here is Y101. So it made its way out of Oakworth and came up here to the interchange yard. It's just one SD40-2, 8051. So it's going to pull these cars out of the interchange yard's track, change the switch on the other side of the depot here, and then they're going to make their way back towards Oakworth.
Morning, Mo.
Alright, so this one by far was my favorite catch of the day just from the way I filmed it. As I said earlier, it was extremely hot and my GoPros were overheating just filming a single train. I recently changed the settings on them both to catch 60 frames a second, and the amount of heat that it generates, especially in a hot weather environment, it's pretty crazy. So I was having to swap back and forth between the two GoPros we used. Thankfully we had them both. And then the drone kept giving me overheating warnings as well, so I only used it on this one flight. But it was pretty cool to be able to take off there from the interchange yard, fly up north past the depot. We're seeing each of the little overpasses here, a couple walking bridges. I've got the main road up there. And we're going to come across one more walking bridge that's actually a really nice place to shoot trains from if you've just got a ground camera. There's some holes cut there in the fencing so that you can stick your camera through. And then we're going to come up here and watch as the train crosses the lift bridge across the Tennessee River. So this is CSX M514 making its way north from Rice Yard in Waycross, Georgia, up to Radnor Yard in Nashville, Tennessee. It's a manifest that we're going to see 2 locomotives up front, and we're going to see 2 mid-train DPUs. We've got 3289 up front with 5234. Then we're going to see 5418 and 3032. They're mid-train. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I just kind of let the drone hover in place here, kind of watching the entirety of the span. But again, really enjoyed taking this footage. It was a good flight up there, and then really love the way it came out here crossing the bridge. Alright, so that M514 would conclude the CSX action portion of our day. So all those CSX moves we saw between 9:02 and 10:43, so a decent bit of action there from a timing perspective. And then here at 11:15 we get our first NS train of the day, albeit with BNSF power. This is NS 733 going from Shear, Georgia over to Memphis, Tennessee, where it'll interchange onto the BNSF. These are coal empties coming back from the power plant there in Georgia, and will make their way back onto the BNSF line to go and retrieve more coal. We've got two BNSF leaders, 8783 and 6194, and then we're going to have two rear DPUs, BNSF 9308 and BNSF 9083. Alright, so first off on this one, let me just say wow. These hoppers you see going by us here, several of them in the Norfolk and Western, and then also Southern logoing still, so that was pretty cool. But how about that display of power? We had 10 Norfolk Southern locomotives up front. The first ones were NS 7687, NS 4104, NS 7561, NS 4149, and then NS 7635. I believe those 5 were all being utilized for power. And then behind them, I believe the next 5 were being towed dead in tow. We had 5 Dash 9s, NS 9579, 9547, 9540, 9607, and 9605. From what I understand, those are going to go into Memphis, and then from there will make their way down to Dallas, where they're all being slated to be rebuilt at the Wabtec facilities there in Dallas. So this one is a manifest train, NS 363, going from Chattanooga's DeBitts Yard over to Sheffield, Alabama. And again, pretty interesting to see the array of power, as well as those first few hopper cars that had the old Norfolk and Western and Southern paint on them still. Further back in the train here, we're going to see some more fallen flags. Really an interesting display on this train. It was a really cool one to see. As I mentioned earlier, this will be the last one we catch here at the depot and interchange yard, and then we'll catch one more train just to the east of Decatur, the northeast of Decatur, as we start making our way back towards Nashville. right, so as mentioned earlier, I was had delayed getting out of Decatur a little bit, getting some food at Jack's. Whenever I'm down in Alabama or surrounding areas, try to make it a point to stop at Jack's. For years, we would pass them and not stop. Didn't really know anything about it. Thought potentially it was a offshoot of Jack in the Box or a more modernized version. But we finally stopped at one a couple years ago, and the food is generally tremendous. The burgers really are good. Haven't had anything there we didn't like, so now I always try to make my way past one of them. So as I was coming north out of Decatur, saw this one crossing the bridge. Had already put away all my equipment, so shot this with the iPhone. Didn't have my scanner out, but a big shout out back to the River City Rail Club. They also keep a train log there with the virtual Railfan cam there at the depot. So when I got back, was able to look at their log and figured out that this was NS 286 going from Rossville, Tennessee over to Atlanta's Inman Yard. It's a intermodal / manifest train with the two UP leaders up front, 8569 and 5633. So definitely appreciate the guys in the club for keeping that log, and want to extend a thanks to them for hosting this event. It was a pretty good day. Definitely look forward to going down to future events. Hope that they are able to continue to grow this. It was a pretty good day. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll be back soon with some new ones. Thanks for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click on the thumbs up below to give us a like. Also, please click on the Rusty Boxcar logo on the right side of the screen to get a subscription to the channel. And send us a comment. Really enjoy reading all your comments, and I try to respond to each one of them. Thanks, and have a nice day.